Hello from Tbilisi. This is a podcast pigeon of peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about human capital and let's start with the definition.
Human is the most valuable asset of any company. You told me one good phrase, which is a good time to recall. Can you talk a talk or would you walk a walk? Sometimes you would ask people, okay, if you will enter the board, would you make such a task? Would you fulfill such a job? And people always say, oh, come on, it's quite easy, I'll do. But then you'll find that they are going to ask some chat GPT or some other stuff, or they will even hire someone to make their job. It's quite common in India. But it would be very dangerous when you sitting late night and you have just two colleagues beside you and you have a very urgent task to do, and suddenly you will realize that they are responsible but not able to do it. So how to find people, it's how to dig the gold. If you have the right person in your team, you will be successful. If you have just one spare wheel which is floating out, you will go nowhere.
Well, and I do believe there could be like a multiple dimensions of these things because, well, obviously you want to have, I would say, like a map of the constellation, like what exactly, like what kind of people you have around. And then probably you also want to make sure that, okay, whatever you want to ask for, you probably would ask or did something for them in advance. And if you want to balance all of these things, and I'm not talking about like doing this rocket science or whatever, but like trying to at least have a strategy, like how you will build your human capital, what kind of currency will be there, but how to strategize it at the basic level, at the foundation.
Let's talk about soft skills and hard skills. Sometimes you want to hire someone with the greatest set of soft skill. This person or people, they would be communicate as well. They would talk. They will be very patient. They will be sympathizing, but then you will find that they have lack of some skills you need to do exactly in job. Sometimes you will behave vice versa. You will hire the people who had a very good hard skill and they enable work with modeling, with processing, with project and some other, but then you will find that they could not talk each to other. And it is much better than you would become a glue for those people and you will combine them all together like Lego set. Then you will have a very nice people. They are able to do, but they have no hands and no legs.
And if we still consider human capital as, let's say, like some sort of like a currency, the moment you deposit into something, and we'll speak about this separately, of course, but the moment you want to withdraw, like how the process should look like, because at a certain point of time, I do believe the best way is not when you're asking them, but, if those people competent enough, they will notice and they will come. But again, like how this transaction should look like in the ideal world or how to orchestrate to make sure it will happen smooth.
The tough team when no one could understand who is in charge. So everyone should have the pedal and to see into the horizon to make boat float and not straight ahead, but into the best direction. There is a sport which named rafting, when you use some kind of balloons to sit on them, and then you just use current of the stream or the creek, and then you go through the mountains, rocks, and so on. And sometimes your raft would fall from 1 meter, 2 meter, and it would be a lot of cold water and a lot of stuff could even dive, and you will lose it. And then you will see how people behave. Some would just sit and cry. Okay, everything bad is happening, and now I'll wait for Santa to come with his deers and so on. And another people will say, okay, we have first thing to do is to set a fireplace. Third, people, they would run for a wood, for a food, and so on. And if everyone know what to do, except of crying, for sure, that you have a good team and you have something to withdraw. But if you are like a leader for pioneers, for scouts, then you will be responsible for everything. And in time when you want to open the deposit, to open the safe and take or withdraw your deposit, you will see that there is nothing in it and you're even in debt.
And there's also could be an emotional aspect. I do remember that you said that there is like a one book, it's called like a house of the manager, or like a house of the leader. And I do believe was one paragraph that actually struck me. It says that the more you're tired, the more you're stressed, the less it's this thing like a depersonalization happens, meaning that you would see people as like a resources. So if we would match this, let's consider this is actually true, and if we would look like into someone who's actually tapping into their human capital, and at certain point of time they might be like a losing emotion for people, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but you might be seeing, you know, like either nails if you think yourself as a hammer, or you could see people. So how to find the balance, if there should be a balance, like when interacting with people, because at certain point of time you might be like angry, you might be happy, but you need to handle it. So where is this like a golden middle?
I'm happy here that you read this book and found something useful. Yes, I also remember this passage. And when you start to see people as abuse, as something which disturb you or take your time while you're resting, even in this case, you should separate from them. So each time when someone's name appear in your mind, you should understand, is it good or bad? And if it is something good, okay, the person managed to do something, then it's okay, and it will take you like 3 seconds, just light smile and nothing more. But if you will think, okay, how to talk with person, how to make project, how to finish his task and so on, then you one step ahead to fire him. And it is your privilege and your task, your job, to make it as fast as possible. For example, let's think that you are flying on the balloon and you have a lot of I don't know how to say, bags with sand. And when you have very heavy rain, when you have a strong wind, sometimes you just should put 2 or 3 bags aside, and then your balloon will fly over again. And if you're responsible for some people who is sleeping in this bag, in this balloon, you should do it immediately. You know, when crisis come, a lot of people would think, okay, I could cut this to the bones, I could make this improvement. But you know, if you have what improve when crisis just started, then you already lost your time. And some balloons are already over the mountains and they have get their journey and they are faster than you.
Well, and there is a funny phrase that my wife actually that I've heard from her. It's called like a BBB, meaning that, you know, like be brief, be bold, and then be gone. And I will try to apply it to the human capital, because at certain point of time we might be, you know, like going to a certain extension when we're trying to, you know, like make friends with the people. Let's say, you know, like we will try to meet outside of work. We'll try, you know, like find a common hobbies. But what I kind of understand is that this might not be help. Let's say, for example, I was hanging out with my colleagues and I realized that, you know, like some people would really, you know, like willing to hang out like till they pass away or whatever. So it's better probably, you know, like have some sort of like limitation, so that your attention, your time could be spent somewhere else, yet you build a human capital, and probably people actually maybe will respect, or maybe will at least understand that you need to go somewhere rather than, you know, like have like extra round of beer or something. So what is the take on this one, like how to limit your time yet building your human capital with your colleagues?
You should know your priorities. And when, for example, in Russian language, people talk about priorities, they use multiple numbers, but usually you have just one priority. Priority is something which is more important than else. And on the first place, it is your health. If you have no health, you would not be useful for your family, for your friends, and for your job, for your boss. Second, it's your family, because when you have problem, when you are ill, you will have just family beside your bed. Third, it's your way how to make money. Without money, you became not a man, but just a human being. You know, there is a joke that man of the dream. For women, it's a ATM machine because it is very strong and have money at any time. And then you will think about some other stuff like relatives, and job would be stay on 6 or maybe on 7 position. And team building, it would stand like on 10s. And if people want to hang around, if people want to talk, if people want just to say how they feel uncomfortable in this world, you should think if there is a match for your priorities. And it is not, definitely. Because, for example, if I would say, Maxim, let's have a run for like 5 kilometers. Okay, it's about sport. Okay, Maxim, let's talk to your son, to your wife, how we could make them their life better, or to your mom, for example. Okay, it's your priorities. But when you hear other people, not about a job, now not about your field of competence, not about your cycle of cares, забота, cares, then you just spend your time for nothing.
Well, well said. And at a certain point of time, we also may look into building this like a capital with special people. So I do believe, again, like I will be using this synonym, you probably will need to have like a special currency because someone would not need your, let's say, general knowledge about geography or whatever. So how to be useful for special people by having like a special knowledge? Because one thing that I do understand is, like you might be, like the smartest person, whatever, but like if no one knows, like what is the point of that? So if we want to build something special, what is our plan, or at least what is the idea?
You recall this time when you have been living and working at Bali, at Bali or on Bali?
On Bali.
On Bali, I told you a story about this. Let me remember how it, cock fighting cocks.
Yeah.
Fighting cocks, and you should be like a fighting cock. So before everyone would just hear your name, everyone should understand, okay, Maxim is very important person, very serious person, very smart, very capable, and even very dangerous. So your name, even just your name, should be shelled for everyone. Okay, we don't want to hike on this company. We don't want to mess with this family. We don't want to deal with Maxim's son, because Maxim is capable for everything. He knows police, he knows governor, he knows a lot of, and also he is very well known, but better not to be notorious known.
Well, and if we look into another side, because I was thinking about, like taking it from the, I would say like a personal side. We want to, like build something for ourselves, but at certain point of time, we will be surrounded by people, and some people also want to build this human capital with us, or maybe with someone who also, like work for us or works with us. So how to be in that situation when we do understand, okay, something is going on, like someone is doing us a favor or doing a favor for our colleagues. So how to take it and how to interpret and how to act on it.
Maxim, you have several choices in your life. First, you could live, work, and just stay with very tough people, and they would be like homicide police, or maybe special ops, or maybe Navy SEALs, or something else, spies, and so on. Second, you would be surrounded by usual people, and it is quite good when you have ability to live in both worlds. In one world, I live with my army friends and some other people who are very capable, dangerous, and they have a lot of resources. And other life, I live with just usual people, and they just do not know about those other world. And what is the difference? When you just work in your work, you're like a ship. And ship, it's okay to say?
Ship, I would say, yeah.
I will always afraid to mix sheep and sheep. One is boat and another is animal, which is eating grass. What's the difference?
It's longer like a sheep or ship, which is for the boat.
Okay, sheep, then short. And sometimes you will meet wolf and they would hunt you down, and it is very dangerous. And some people, they do not want to know about this, and they do not know nothing about technologies, about IT, social engineering, fighting, and at some point they would meet those people and they will lose everything. They will lose money, they will lose resources, even may lose some part of dignity. And another way, you will be well prepared for both worlds, and in this case you will be like a wolf under the sheep's skin, and it is much easier. No one should know how tough you are until they will under the direct heat. But you should spend all your time to make push-ups, to read the books, to know how to cure people. If the time will come, a lot of people would be grateful that you will be so well prepared.
And then before my last question, I will try to somehow mix the technology because, like we are already living in the digital age or maybe even post-digital age. So how the technology and the human capital works, because, like most of the time we don't see each other. Yes, we might be doing like a different favors. Yes, there might be some sort of like a digital goods, but whether this, I would say, ability to, like have a person visually contact someone still would affect the human capital.
It's quite a different way how to behave. When, for example, you see someone in the video, first, you don't know the height of the person. Second, usually the person under the webcam will weigh for 5 to 6 kilos more, especially in cheeks. Third, sometimes you will see people which are smile already. So, for example, we have with you just 1 hour to record during the week, so we are always smiling because we, I don't know how to say, соскучились to get
Missed each
to,
other or something.
we missed each other, so it's quite natural. But if we will stay, for example, after several hundred of podcasts in the same trip, suddenly you will find that I never smile, and you will be say, okay, what's a grumble?
Yeah, or grumpy or grumble or groggy.
Grumpy person, да, broggy, and something like this. But this is just usual behavior. The second, for example, when we see each other 1 week, we say, oh come on, Maxim, how is your doing? What's up and so on. But if, for example, we will on the cruise ship, then we'll say, okay, like we never have goodbye and we never have a good morning. So it will be like one continuous life. So it is just hard to accept when you mix those lives. If you know a person in person, then you will be knowing his behavior. But if you know the person via webcam, then you will used to be to his unnatural behavior. And when you will see this person in real life, okay, you should be a little bit disappointed. But it's about your expectation, but not about the person. If the person has straight mood, if the person is stable, it's quite enough for human capital. Because if you will wait that everyone would smile while you enter in the office, then probably you should be, I don't know, 100 bill or a glass of tequila.
Oh yeah, and probably the person should be always drunk. And I do believe with all of that, we concluded like what is this thing, human capital, and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.